day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the Eritrean invasion of the Tigray region, the continued civil war taking place inside the former state of Ethiopia. And today, we're going to start off where most of the fighting is taking place. Some of the heaviest fighting is taking place. And that is running from Shire all the way to essentially outside of Axum and the approaches of Adwa. So what is happening? Well, it appears right now the Eritrean military, the Abiy loyalist forces, are continuing to attempt to press its attack in the direction of Adwa. Adwa is very, very important right now for the Eritrean military, for the Abiy loyalists to seize control of. Obviously, it is a major road junction. You have the B30, you have the A2, and you then control movement south in the direction of Mekelle. You control the movement east in the direction of Adigrat. And then obviously you would then have the ability as well to open up the Ramah front, which continues to be a thorn in the side of the Eritrean army as it attempts to press south from Ramah towards Adwa. Now what we're hearing is that because of the Tigrayan defense force attacks on the logistical network of the Eritrean military. The Eritrean military has resorted to stealing supplies, rampaging through the city of Shire in an attempt to gain food and material to sustain its military forces, which are continuing to have some challenges in regards to the logistical efforts of moving food, supplies, ammunition from Eritrea south toward Shire. At the same time, they do control the airport outside of Shire. However, given the size of the airport and the airlift capabilities of the Abiy loyalist forces, which by no means, just in terms of airlift capability, flying in planes, would sustain both the Eritrean military and the Abiy loyalist forces on the ground that are continuing to fight east of Shire. And that is why we are seeing now, we've heard allegations that the Eritrean army is raiding World Food Program depots, taking food, going house to house, taking food and supplies from all the houses that exist in Shire in an attempt to shore up its logistical challenges. In addition, we have heard reports of numerous reports of rapes that have occurred and extrajudicial killings taking place inside of Shire as well. But right now, it does appear that the main efforts of the Eritrean army is to press towards that route of advance towards Axum and Adwa. We understand that Axum is still under the control of the Tigrayan defense forces, and in some cases, the Eritrean army is attempting to bypass areas near Axum and continue on towards Adwa. Now, what we're hearing is that Adwa is fortified. The areas outside of Adwa, to the west, to the north, and to the east of Adwa are very, very much fortified, as is the town of Adigrat, further to the east as well. And it looks like that the Tigrayan defense forces are preparing to mount some rather significant defensive operations within the vicinity, running from Adigrat west towards Adwa. And this is going to be designed to prevent the Eritrean Abiy loyalist army from moving down the A2 highway south towards Mekelle, and then further preventing those forces from moving through Adwa and then south again towards Mekelle. The probability of success of the Eritrean army being able to move through Axum, through Adwa, and then have a successful route in this direction towards Mekelle is very remote. This area here, the Tenbian region, would become a nightmare for the Eritrean forces. I mean, let's just look at it. Let's zoom in and we can kind of see the terrain features near Adwa. The map breaks up a little bit from the satellite coverage, but you can see this some of the size of some of the mountainous terrain that is near Adwa. And this area is being heavily fortified by the Tigrayan Defense Forces. If we look to the south and we run along this main highway, which runs south and then kind of curves then to the east towards Mekelle, and we'll look at that route, following that route as if it was the Eritrean army attempting to move as if it has taken control of Adwa and then moving south. And you can see this terrain, incredibly difficult. And again, to the east, to the west of this road network would become incredibly challenging for the Eritrean military to again maintain a logistical network all the way to Mekelle through the Tenbian region, while being constantly harassed by the Tigrayan Defense Forces, which again, fully mobilized right now. And we're just following this road network all the way to Mekelle. And again here, this is kind of what we're talking about. Incredibly difficult. And then to compound that, the concept that you are then going to permanently occupy this territory, successfully occupy this area. Again, incredibly difficult, and I've really kind of spun a 360 here. Let's back up a little bit, get our bearings back. But again, right now, the main efforts are right by the Eritrean military are pressing towards this the seizure of Axum and Adwa, and as it continues to take more territory, it's again going to have to maintain forces to control these areas, because this is not people who are sympathetic to the Eritrean army by any stretch of the imagination. And if we look at just a logistical map running from Axum to the Eritrean border in terms of distance, so from Axum to Shire, as a bird flies, is about 50 kilometers. Running from Shire further to the Eritrean border is another 80 plus kilometers. And this whole route is going to have to be maintained and controlled by the Eritrean military, by the Abiy loyalist forces, to bring in supplies and logistics. And that is where, again, the Eritrean military has really had challenges in these ongoing conflicts. They've had the ability to seize control of towns and cities. Obviously, they're able to bring in heavy artillery, they use tanks, armored fighting vehicles, and then airstrikes in conjunction with some of the more precision strike drones that the Abiy Loyalist Army possesses as well. So that does give them the ability to conduct focused operations and seize control of areas when they have to. Now the problem is, as they seize control of area and they move on to the next area, that previous area, such as Shire, right? The main focus right now is towards Axum. In a classical insurgency campaign, an industrial strength insurgency campaign, this is where the Tigrayan Defense Forces, these fast, mobile, light infantry formations that have bases in the Tembian region, west of the B30 highway, west of Shire, north of Shire, are then able to attack those rear area forces of the Eritrean military. The Eritrean army, the Abiy Loyalist army, cannot keep its best forces in every city in the Tigray region. And right now, this is looking more and more like assistance to the possible political efforts that are going to take place in South Africa. The long-term viability of a Eritrean successful occupation of Tigray is incredibly minimal, as is an Abiy Loyalist Amharan regional militia occupation of the Tigray region. I believe history is simply going to repeat itself, even if the Eritrean army is able to take, after an incredibly bloody cost, Adwa, if they are able to take Adigrat, and then eventually move down to Mekelle. And that is going to be a serious, serious fight. And then, once they occupy Mekelle, what is then holding Adigrat? What is holding Adwa? What is holding Shire? Well, the answer is just not going to be enough. Because again, the Tigrayan Defense Forces are fighting on their home turf. They're clearly fighting for a cause. Are these Eritrean conscripts that have been pressed into service, are they fighting for a cause? Is the Abiy Loyalist army fighting for a cause? Some would say no. And we can kind of see that, especially in terms of some of the prisoners of war that have been taken. Thousands of prisoners of war by the Tigrayan Defense Forces of the Abiy Loyalist forces. So again, the main effort right now is directed towards Axum and Adwa. Again, we're trying to find out more information on the ground, what is happening in and around Axum, but it does look like the main defensive effort of the Tigrayan Defense Forces right now is taking place near Adwa and further to the east near Adigrat. And that makes complete sense, as again, these are vital road junctions and give access south towards Mekelle. It looks like the Tigrayan Defense Forces is actively trying to defend Mekelle, which makes complete sense, while at the same time conducting rear area operations against the Eritrean army, designed to starve and then eventually kill the Eritrean military inside of the Tigray region. Not through direct confrontation with the main body of the Eritrean and the Abiy Loyalist forces, but its ability to feed itself and supply itself in its rear area formations. But that's what we have for today. Again, thank you for... Oh, one more quick point. Again, it looks like that the main front lines in the south, we are still calling Korim as disputed. There are still reportedly Tigrayan Defense Forces operating inside of Korim. There are also reports that Abiy Loyalist forces have entered Korim as well, and there's been a few photographs of allegedly B loyalist forces in front of a building or two. But again, they may be in an area of Koren, but that does not mean they control the entire city. And especially east of the city, again, very rugged, mountainous terrain. And then again to the northwest of the city and southwest of the city as well, we believe the Tigrayan Defense Forces are very much present and could threaten Alamata at any point. But that's where we set for today. We will have more very, very soon. As always, thank you for joining us, and more again very, very soon. And as always, have a good day.